Alright, hold still, you bugger. There we go, there's a hit. I ain't done with you yet, though. Oh! Pop goes the Ivan. Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you I have a Gunner Heat PC guide video. And what I will be covering today is berm drills. Now this is something most people know even if they don't realize it. If you've played World of Tanks, War Thunder, Armored Warfare, most of you probably know about fighting from a hull down position, backing away from a fighting position into a turret safe position. That's where you're pretty much everything is covered up except for like your vision blocks, basically the top part of your turret. You wait for your gun to reload and get back into a fighting hull down position. That's where your hull is covered, but not your turret. What I'm going to cover essentially is what is berm drills and advanced military techniques of berm drills. Now understand that the advanced military techniques of berm drills really isn't going to be, I want to say, effective, and mostly that has to do with the fact that, well, the AI is not 100% controllable, if you will. You can do things to maneuver around the AI control, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily key yet, or that it's really effective yet. That being said, the advanced berm drills is going to be important when it comes time for the devs at Gunner Heat PC to make this the co-op game, which is one of the final goals of the game itself. And that's actually why I'm covering the advanced berm drills, as well as berm drills are still effective in most scenarios anyway, even in the most basic sense. So let's start with the basics of a berm drill. The fact is, you want to keep it when fighting, when you have an enemy tank spotted, you want to try and keep your hull down. And that is because your hull is typically weaker armor than your turret. Turrets are typically built with more armor protection than the hull is. Basically, it comes down to main battle tanks. They have a lot of firepower, they have a lot of speed, and they're really well armored, but that armor has to be sacrificed somewhere so they can keep that speed. What happens is certain areas of your tank is weaker than others. Typically, they tend to make the turrets heavier because, one, that is where you're engaging with. Your main guns are in your turret. Now, that's not really the case for the Stritzwagen 103, but let's not get into the oddball STRV 103 for this scenario. Let's just focus on regular tanks with turrets, because these techniques will work with the Russian tanks as well as the American tanks. Or any other, just about any other tank for that matter. So you want to stay hull down at all times. Now, what you get with a berm drill is you either have a dug-in position where your hull is covered up, or you're using the crest of a hill, which is what you see me using here. I don't have a ready to fight with position, so I'm using the berm of a hill. And what I'm doing is I am fighting from a hull down position. After I fire the gun, I try to back away a little bit, cover up more of my turret. And mostly I'm not backing as far away as I should be, mostly because in the game currently at the point of this recording, the crew does not communicate with you. They don't give you information. So going into a turret down position essentially completely blinds me, and it prevents me from effectively re-engaging targets as I need to re-engage those targets. But what you would typically do is go into a turret down position while your gun is being reloaded. At that point, your commander is looking, scanning for any targets, anyone approaching, trying to guide you on where your gun needs to be pointed for your re-engagement process, as well as there is the vision block sight, the vision block periscope that on top of the turret that the gunner can use to do the same thing as well. He can look out that periscope on the turret roof and see where the enemy is maneuvering, what targets he wants to engage next, things of that nature. The reason you're doing that is once your gun is empty, you obviously can't fight back, you can't defend yourself, and the safest thing to do is go into a turret down position or a safe position while your gun is being reloaded, and then you re-engage. Now, one thing I'm going to tip my hat to the guys off with, this is something I haven't seen in War Thunder, Armored Warfare, or World of Tanks. Now, I might be mistaken on War Thunder. I haven't noticed it very much, and I know it's a feature in Steel Beast, and we're talking the old Steel Beast Gold. This was even a feature. When you're in the drive gear going forward and you decide to go reverse, it takes a second for the tank to kick into reverse. So it's not an instantaneous thing like it is in Armored Warfare and World of Tanks, and I'm pretty sure War Thunder as well. The footage I've watched of War Thunder, it might be there, but it's just really subtle. Now the next thing, and this is a more advanced technique in Berm Drills, which is a shifting fighting position. Now the reason you do a shifting fighting position, in the case here, I have a whole hill that I can use to stay hauled down behind. First off, typically in the real world, you would not be fighting one or two tanks. You would be fighting with multiple tanks. We would have showed up with more than likely 4 tanks minimum. Maybe less, it could happen, maybe even more. So what happens is your tanks are getting to the hill getting to a hold down position at different points, engaging targets and backing away. Well, what happens, and this is a communication thing, is you can do that a few times, but once you start getting engaged, you want to shift away from that position into a new hold down, turret down position, and then continue berm drills. There's multiple reasons to do this. One, it's so that way the enemy doesn't necessarily know where your position is. Two, it's so that way you can make your force look bigger than it really is. So basically, if you have multiple tanks shifting around, fighting from different positions, it may make your force seem bigger than it really is as they're popping out and firing, moving, popping out and firing. So there you go, folks. That's the information I have on berm drills. And, to me, it's kind of important information, especially because it's going to increase your survivability. And when things come rolling out and we start doing the online co-op, it's going to be important to know how to do that kind of stuff, especially if you online with your buddies playing in multiple tanks and you guys can communicate and you can have a shifting firing line using advanced berm drill techniques. Anyway, folks, that is the end of my I almost said armored warfare. Good Lord. That is the end of my Gunner Heat PC video. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I know I'm old and shit, but I hope you enjoyed the video and have yourself a wonderful day.